Shadows of Maryam. The city of Metropolis had seen storms before, but never like this. It began with whispers, unseen voices echoing in the dreams of ordinary people. Entire neighborhoods woke in terror, clutching their chests as a single name slipped from their trembling lips, Maryam Namar. By dawn, the skies above Metropolis had turned an unnatural violet, rippling with strange energy. Broken light shimmered across the skyline, fracturing glass, twisting shadows into grotesque forms. Streets lay in ruin where no enemy had touched, as if reality itself had been cursed. Children wept without knowing why, and even the bravest souls felt despair crawling through their veins. Superman hovered above the chaos, scanning the city with sharp, worried eyes. He could hear the sirens below, the panic cries of the people he had sworn to protect. Yet something about this presence was different. It wasn't brute force. It was something deeper, older, darker. Every sound carried a weight, every shadow a whisper. He knew immediately, this was not just an invasion. It was a curse. Descending onto a crumbled boulevard, Superman saw the first signs of Maryam's power. Civilians staggered through the wreckage, eyes glazed, voices chanting in perfect unison. Not words, but a low hum that rattled the air, filling it with dread. Their bodies twitched as if pulled by invisible strings. Lois's voice crackled faintly through his comms. "Clark, be careful. Something about her, it's not human." Before he could respond, the atmosphere itself seemed to shatter. The whispers condensed into a single scream, ripping through the sky. From the fissures of light, a figure emerged, Maryam Namar. She did not look monstrous. Not yet. Draped in flowing black, her presence alone bent the air around her, warping reality. Her face was hauntingly human, beautiful in its stillness, but her eyes were galaxies. Endless, spiraling voids where stars were born and died in silence. One look, and Superman felt the weight of countless worlds crushed into nothingness. The people around her fell to their knees, trembling, whispering her name as if she were both nightmare and salvation. Superman stood his ground, his fists clenched, but even he felt a power gnawing at the edges of his mind. Maryam tilted her head, her voice soft but echoing like 1,000 shadows. "Kal-El of Krypton, your fear will be my strength." Cliffhanger. Superman locked eyes with her, and for the first time in years, he felt small. The cursed bond. Metropolis groaned under the weight of an unseen spell. Maryam's whispers seeped through every alley, every broken shard of glass, every trembling heartbeat. Citizens who once cried for help now walked in eerie silence, their eyes glowing with faint starlight, their steps perfectly synchronized, as if they were one body, one mind. Superman darted through the chaos, pulling survivors from collapsing buildings, shielding them from falling debris. But for every person he saved, 10 more fell into Maryam's thrall. She didn't need armies of steel or ships of fire. Her weapon was the human soul itself. Lois had been following the destruction closely, her camera clutched in defiance, her spirit refusing to bend. She knew the world had to see the truth, even if it terrified them. But as she aimed her lens, the shadows twisted around her. Maryam appeared not with violence, but with a whisper, her voice slipping like silk into Lois's mind. "You long for truth, for clarity. I can give you more. All you need is to let go." Lois's breath caught, her eyes glazing as shimmering illusions wrapped around her. She saw a world where pain was gone, where Superman was not burdened but worshipped, where peace came with silence. She reached out, trembling, caught between reality and the dream. Superman landed, scanning desperately. His heart froze. Lois was standing still, her expression entranced. "Lois!" he shouted, racing toward her. But the moment he touched her arm, the ground beneath him shattered like glass. He blinked, and Metropolis was gone. The streets had dissolved into endless corridors of mirrors, each reflecting not the city, but his failures. He saw his parents' deaths, Krypton's destruction, every life he had been too late to save. Voices screamed in 1,000 echoes, "You are not enough." From the shadows, Maryam stepped forward, her eyes burning like galaxies, her smile calm and merciless. "Brute force is nothing here, Kal-El. In this place, your greatest enemy is yourself." Superman clenched his fists, his chest rising and falling with fury. But even he felt the crushing weight of doubt. Lois's reflection stared at him, pleading silently from behind a wall of shimmering light. Cliffhanger. Maryam raised her hand, and the mirrors closed in. Superman, trapped in her illusions, faced the one thing he had never been able to defeat, his own fear. Breaking the chains. The world inside Maryam's illusions was not just a trap, it was a prison woven from Superman's deepest fears. He saw Krypton crumbling again, his parents' faces lost in fire. He heard the screams of Metropolis citizens, their voices warped into echoes of failure. The chains that bound him were not steel, but regret and doubt, forged from every moment he had ever hesitated. Maryam's laughter echoed like a haunting melody, sweet and poisonous. She appeared in shifting forms, sometimes as Lois, sometimes as a shadow of his own reflection, sometimes as a goddess of darkness with galaxy-filled eyes. "You are strong, Kal-El," she whispered, her voice dripping with both allure and cruelty. "But strength means nothing when your heart is weak. You can't save them all. You never could." Superman struggled, the illusion tightening like a web. His cape felt heavy, his body weakened, his soul nearly crushed beneath the weight of her curse. He almost surrendered, until he saw Lois again. Not the illusion, but a spark of the real Lois breaking through the darkness. She wasn't calling for rescue. She was fighting back, resisting Maryam's influence with sheer human will. It hit Superman like a surge of sunlight. Fear was the weapon, but courage was the key. Humanity was not powerless. It was their defiance that Maryam sought to smother. He roared, his voice breaking the silence like thunder. The illusion shattered. The mirrors cracked into storms of light. Superman pulled against the invisible chains, and with every ounce of will, he broke free, exploding with golden energy drawn from the core of the sun. Maryam staggered back, surprised for the first time. Her cosmic eyes flared, but there was something else in them now. Something dangerous. Intrigue. "You resisted me," she whispered, almost amused. "Perhaps you are not a pawn after all." Superman rose, his cape tearing through the dreamscape as he shattered the illusion entirely. Metropolis returned to view, though scarred and burning, its people dazed but alive. Maryam floated above the skyline, her power still terrifying, but her expression unreadable, a mixture of fury and fascination. Cliffhanger. The ground trembled as shadows gathered behind her, forming monstrous shapes. Maryam was no longer fighting alone. The final reckoning. Metropolis was no longer a city. It was a battlefield of shadows and fire. Streets cracked open like wounds, skyscrapers burned with unnatural colors, and in the sky above, Maryam Namar floated like a goddess of despair. Her galaxy-filled eyes shimmered, pulling at the very fabric of reality. Every breath the citizens took fed her curse. Their fear and desire turned into fuel for her growing strength. Superman hovered opposite her, bruised but unbroken. His cape was torn to ribbons, his chest heaved with exhaustion, but the determination in his eyes burned brighter than the collapsing skyline. Around him, faint echoes of Maryam's illusions still flickered. Lois in chains, friends crying for help, Krypton in ruins. He had broken free of them once. Now he had to break free for all of humanity. Kal-El. Maryam's voice carried across the city, led with 1,000 whispers. "You are not here to save them. You are here to join me. Together, we can bind this world to eternity." Superman clenched his fists, golden sparks of solar energy coursing over his arms. "You feed on fear, on pain, on desire. That's not eternity. That's slavery. And I won't let it happen." The two forces collided in an explosion of light and shadow. Every window in Metropolis shattered, every car alarm wailed, as the sky turned into a storm of color. Superman lunged with speed near the speed of light, punching through waves of monstrous constructs Maryam unleashed, giant hands of smoke, serpents with eyes like stars, screaming faces born of nightmares. Each strike he landed was countered by her illusions, bending reality around him. For a moment, it seemed hopeless. Maryam's power was endless, her whispers seeping into his mind again. "You cannot win. Your people will always fear. They will always want. I will always feed." But then Superman saw them, the people of Metropolis, hiding in the ruins. Yes, but not giving up. A firefighter shielding children from debris. A doctor tending to the wounded by flashlight. Lois herself, freed from illusions, rallying survivors with words of defiance. Humanity was not broken. Humanity fought back. That was his strength. That was his weapon. Superman closed his eyes, drew in the sun's last rays through the smoke-covered sky, and unleashed it all at once. His body became a beacon of pure golden light, cutting through Maryam's illusions like dawn through night. The cosmic chains she cast disintegrated. The nightmare beast screamed and vanished. For the first time, Maryam staggered, her perfect composure cracking. "No," she whispered, her voice trembling. "They are mine." Superman roared and surged forward, his fist blazing with solar fire, striking her with everything he had. The shockwave lit up the heavens, sending Maryam crashing into the ruins below. The curse shattered with a scream, the skies clearing as if the city itself had been freed from suffocation. When the dust settled, Maryam was gone, whether destroyed or banished. No one could tell. Superman stood over the city, weary but resolute. Metropolis was scarred, but alive. Humanity had endured. And as Superman gazed toward the stars, he knew one truth. This was not the end. Somewhere, out there in the abyss, shadows were watching. And Maryam's curse had only been the first chapter of a darker saga yet to come. Cliffhanger, a faint signal pulses from deep space, carrying Maryam's voice, whispering, "This was only the beginning."